I mean, what's on the playlist right now? I know I'm listening to a lot of Benson Boone.
Benson Boone is so good. The first time I heard Beautiful Things, like the whole, it brought like tears to my eyes. I was like, it's so relatable.
Hey y'all, Gabrielle here, and thank you for joining me on today's coffee break. I'm thrilled to be joined here today by Dasha McBride, not Shaw. Congrats on the new name, Dasha. Let's start with first question here, which would be cool to know what your first job was and just kind of how that relates to your career path now, if at all. I mean, we could be talking lifeguard versus your first big girl job, anything.
So I did work my way through college, but my first big girl job I got through a fellowship called Venture for America, which is a fellowship aimed, they always say it's like Teach for America, but for business and entrepreneurship. And so they place top talent in smaller cities that don't usually get top talent. And I ended up going to Birmingham, and I worked at a nonprofit called the Birmingham Education Foundation. And my goal there was to develop and pilot all of the elementary school programming, which I did not go to school for education. So yeah, when she told me that's what I was going to be doing, I was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, what are we going to, what are the topics? How many sessions? She was like, yeah, that's up to you. All we know is that it's going to be on, executive functioning and social and emotional learning. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'll Google it. So that was my introduction to the work world. And I have never worked so hard in my life. I love kids. I've been working with kids for a very long time. And so I was very dedicated and committed to what it was that we were doing. And I remember getting up at 4 a.m. and getting home really late and just like doing everything that it took to pilot that program.
And now you're both educating and creating media and educating on how to create media. So that's actually a perfect blend of everything you do.
Yeah.
Well, Dasha, you actually have, speaking of clients, some pretty next level clients. And one of them is Amazon, where you're part of a really cool initiative that got known as the Black Employee Network. BEN, I think, is the acronym for it. It's an employee-led affinity group that's focused on employees just making remarkable contributions to their community culture, but also the company. So, I mean, I would love it if you could tell our audience just a little bit about your involvement with this, and then just kind of like what drew you to the network to begin with.
I think what's really drawn me to them is seeing how passionate they are about creating a safe and healthy space and community at Amazon, and also seeing how dedicated Amazon is to also helping them create that community. I didn't even realize that Amazon had affinity groups within the organization. So it's been really beautiful to be a part of helping them to tell their story and build out other BIN chapters and create different programs that help to serve the Black population at Amazon. So it's been really cool so far.
Yeah, that is incredible. And I mean, you're also working with just HubSpot, which is pretty awesome. So could you tell us a little bit about what you're learning there?
Yeah. So right now I'm in the process of getting my master's degree in digital marketing. And I've never had formal training in digital marketing. I've trained myself. I've worked at digital marketing agencies. I've done all of those kind of things. But now I'm really wanting to put it all together and just go deeper, even deeper with my knowledge and see what gaps I have and some of the aspects I might be the most interested in. And so through my master's program, I was able to get connected with a micro internship through HubSpot, which has been really cool. It's just like a 2-month program where you're diving deep with a couple of clients. And this micro internship is focused specifically on AI, on artificial intelligence, which is what really drew me in because AI is obviously taking off right now. And I was like, okay, cool. So I can learn a little bit more about what it looks like in a big company like this, like HubSpot. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been working with clients. I'm getting to work with 2 clients currently and building out their campaigns, utilizing AI to really help maximize their campaigns and automate their campaigns. And that's very, very relevant to what I do day to day with MarketScale as well, because we're always working to utilize newer technologies, make things more streamlined for our clients. And so it's been really awesome to kind of deep dive with that.
No, absolutely. And that was actually my follow-up question there, which is how are you finding that you're actually able to implement some of these strategies in your day-to-day at MarketScale?
I think the biggest thing for me is getting more reps at putting together holistic end-to-end strategies. HubSpot really emphasizes conversion pathways, and they really are thoughtful about every single part of the process. And so being able to learn more in depth about how to put together a full comprehensive campaign and how to make sure that I'm appealing to clients and potential clients from the very beginning when they don't know anything about an organization all the way through when they have become a client or a customer of the organization. You're still working to make sure that those contacts are maintained, that you're still delighting the client. It's been a very eye-opening experience because I feel like that is the skill set that I've been working to strengthen, is just really building those end-to-end campaigns that are very comprehensive and cohesive.
No, for sure. And my next question for you, because you've had so much experience thus far with a lot of cool companies, just kind of working them, seeing the ins and outs. But what do you think has been, to this point, probably one of your more rewarding projects or moments in your career thus far? And it doesn't even have to be related to MarketScale or otherwise, just something you like to give a little Dasha brag.
Honestly, I think that one of my most rewarding projects that I've worked on was when I was working to, again, understand digital marketing and more specifically video and YouTube a little bit more in depth, and how I could utilize other social media channels to market YouTube. And I created a channel that was focused on natural hair and empowering women who had natural hair, teaching them about natural hair, helping them to love their natural hair. Because initially, for really most of my life, I had chemically straightened hair. My hair got chemically straightened when I was young. I didn't even know what my natural hair looked like, what my natural curls looked like. And so when I finally decided that I wanted to embrace the fullness of who I am, I cut all my hair off and started growing it out. And I started getting a lot of questions. Yeah, I had like this much hair on my.
Wow.
Now you saw before. I have a whole lot of hair.
A lot of hair.
I cut all of it off. That's where I started my journey. And I realized that as I started learning how to take care of my hair, and I learned how to take care of myself more, and I paid attention more to my self-care. And as I started learning how to just accept my hair for what it is and allow it to be what it is, I feel like I gave myself that same grace and that same courtesy. And so I just watched myself transform as my hair was also transforming, and people were able to see the external transformation, right? They saw my hair grow and grow and grow, but it was harder to communicate that internal change that I was also experiencing and how important that was to the process. And so I just really had a desire to help women to love themselves more. And I was like, talking about natural hair is a sneaky little way to do it, because it's kind of giving them the candy with the medicine, right? You're a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. The sugar is, I'm talking about hair. Hair is fun, but I'm also kind of infusing some personal development and self-love things in there. So I created a video every day for 30 days when I got really serious about that channel. And I was able to monetize my channel on the 14th day of that challenge. And that to me was an eye-opening moment, because it showed me what I'm capable of. It showed me that, oh, I do know what I'm doing in this space. I do have something to offer, both in digital marketing and also just in who I am and what my story is. And I feel like it really built my confidence for a lot of awesome things that came after that. And I'm sure a lot of cool things that are to come.
No, that's a huge deal. I mean, is the channel still active today?
It is still active. So I'm not currently talking about natural hair anymore, even though I'm sure that will be a part of it. One of my videos that I did about hair got a lot of backlash because I didn't realize how polarizing topics on here can be, but apparently they can be very polarizing. And I was like, well, dang, if I'm going to get this much backlash, I'd rather just go straight in with the personal development topics, with the boundaries, with the how to assert yourself and be assertive, with those kinds of topics. I'm just going to go for it. If I'm going to get backlash, I may as well just get to the heart of what I really want to talk about. So that's the direction that it's going in currently.
Your hair is so beautiful. You should be giving advice. But also, I mean, like, that kind of plays into my next question here. It could be this, but just kind of a moment that maybe you experienced like a failure or a setback that kind of formed you, like, to who you are, or that you were able to learn from, and just kind of professionally adapt.
So honestly, the biggest setback that I can think of professionally, especially, I moved to a new city after I got done working with the Birmingham Education Foundation. And again, I entered it through a business and entrepreneurship fellowship. So I've been wanting to learn more about just businesses, how they work, small businesses, mid-sized businesses. I really enjoy business. And I knew that businesses cannot function without sales. And so I wanted to get a sales position. I wanted to learn sales. I know that a lot of people really hate sales. They stay away from sales. Sales, it's very uncomfortable, especially at first, but I wanted to learn. So I got a position working at one of the top sales companies at the time. They are located in South Carolina, but they're close to Charlotte. And so I relocated to the Charlotte area, and the program was for relatively recent college grads. So I was a couple years out of college. Most of my colleagues were, 1 or 2 years out of college. Maybe they just graduated. And they were trying something with a new program where instead of paying us commission like sales is usually paid, they paid us a salary. And they gave bonuses for the top salespeople. And while there were a lot of us who were doing really great, pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone. A lot of people, because sales is so uncomfortable, did not want to sell because it's uncomfortable. And so what that meant is the company lost business because a lot of the motivation for sales is commission. And if you're not getting commission, then you're not necessarily motivated to do anything additional or anything uncomfortable. So because of that, our whole division got laid off because the program was not making money. It was losing money. And so I had just moved to this new city, and I had just had this job, and now I don't have a job anymore. And so I'm having to figure out, what am I going to do from here? And I remember at one point, it got to the point where it was so challenging to find a job that I was very low on funds. I remember finding like $5 in like a random wallet and being like, oh my God, thank you God for this $5. Like I was literally like, I was so happy. I don't think I've ever been so joyful. And I think for me, the lesson in that is, because I did eventually find another job, actually through a friend and a colleague that I had connected with from the previous job. And they were like, yeah, you should come here. This company's really great. I think you would like it. I think you'd be a good fit. You'd add value. And so then that's when I started working at my first digital marketing agency. And I learned so much when I was there. And so I felt like the lesson for that whole journey, which was topsy-turvy, it was very challenging, is that, one, just trusting that everything's going to work out. Sometimes things do not look good. Sometimes things do not feel good. Sometimes you feel like you are at your lowest of low points. But for me, just knowing that if I continue to have faith and I push forward, that things are going to work out eventually, was very helpful for me. And then also it just shows the value of connections, because I don't know where I would have been if I had not formed relationships at that prior company, because I was struggling to find the position, especially because my first job was very education focused, but that's not where I was looking for a job in. So it was very, very challenging to find a new position. And if I had not had the network that I had, I'm not sure that I would have been able to enter into this industry when I was able to.
No, yeah, that definitely didn't hurt to have a network behind you. So no, that is excellent point and advice. And Dasha, we're nearing the end of our podcast here, but I always like to ask, I mean, you could go back and tell your younger self something. One thing, what do you think that would be? There's so many things, so you have to pick one.
The first thing that comes to mind is be your authentic self and live for yourself instead of living for other people. I think I wasted a lot of time trying to please other people and trying to be who other people wanted me to be. And I've had to spend a lot of time reversing that and really digging deep and figuring out who I am and who I want to be. And it would have been a lot easier if I would have started doing that sooner. So that's what I would tell my younger self is just, it's okay to be you. Figure out who that is. Follow what it is that you desire and who you desire to be. Don't look at everybody else and what they're doing and just go for it.
No, and it's excellent advice. And to wrap us up here, I mean, what's on the playlist right now? I know I'm listening to a lot of Benson Boone.
Benson Boone is so good.
I love Benson Boone. And he has, I missed his concert, but I was going to say Spotify Wrapped is like coming up now. So it's like, it's in the back of my head. And I'm like, oh, whatever I'm listening to now is going to be on like, so no more like white noise or like brown noise or whatever, like to fall asleep. But yeah, what's on your playlist?
Let me see. Like, I'm actually going to pull out my Spotify. So Benson Boone is literally, I've been on a Benson Boone kick. The first time I heard Beautiful Things, like the whole, it brought like tears to my eyes. I'm like, this is so relatable. I also, is her name pronounced Chapel Roan?
Oh yeah. Yes.
I honestly have been liking her as well. The song that I've had on repeat though, it's not a popular one, but it's called "I Could Be a Florist" by Olivia Dean. It's
I didn't know that one. I'll have to look that one up.
It's a beautiful song.
Okay, I'm gonna look that one up. And audience, look that one up too. But you have excellent taste, I'm sure, because you like Benson Boone. So.
That tells you all you need to know about everything.
That's all I need to know. Okay, so I'm gonna take one more sip of my little ghosty latte, which is adorable, by the way.
Cute.
It's very cute. It's Halloween time. Actually, it's Halloween today when we're recording this episode. So that's probably the last you'll be seeing of the little ghosty latte cups. But it was so great chit-chatting to you, Dasha. And look at the time. Santa break time. I don't have a watch, but that's where I'd be looking. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And for our audience listening in, please be sure to look at MarketScale socials, follow us, keep up to date on anything new that's happening on our channels. I've been your host, Gabrielle. Thanks for tuning in on this coffee break. There will be many more. Bye.